I'm at the bottom of Australia on the wild and beautiful Eyre Peninsula. This peninsula is a nature lover's playground, and if you love adventure, you're going to love this place. My journey starts in the fishing town of Port Lincoln, and from here I'll experience some of the most exciting face-to-face wildlife encounters you can have anywhere in the world. Eyre Peninsula is a triangular peninsula in South Australia, which is bordered by the Spencer Gulf to the east and the Great Australian Bight to the west. This ocean environment is what I've come to explore. Today I was joining Bay Charters, and our first stop was a 15-minute boat ride to arrive at the Tuna farm. We're at the Tuna farm. So Matt, what can we expect to see here and experience?
We call it a close-up tuna tour because it's going to bring you closer to the fish. These are a really amazing gentle fish. At the size we've got here is about 33 kilos. Just a bit of a story about them. And they are still juveniles. They're only 4 to 5 years of age. They're not mature until they're 100 kilos. And that's about...
That's a big fish.
It's a big fish. That's about 5 years away. And there's no limit to how big they can get. This particular species is being caught in excess of 300 kilos. They're really an amazing species. They're quite gentle. As you can see, you can hand feed them there. They're not aggressive at all. And it's just good fun. What you want to do here is, and this is really important, you want to hold out one fish at a time, not 4, okay? Keep your fingers tucked up out of the way. You don't want to confuse the tuna. We're going to lean out. You just want to put just the head of the bait in the water. All right, and they'll come up and take it out of your hand. You need to lean out as far as possible.
You're right in front of you. The camera.
We're really well supported by local industry because what we're providing is an education base for visitors to Port Lincoln to have a better understanding of the tuna industry, its strengths and weaknesses.
This is a pretty special occasion because you don't often get to see tuna up close, but in this pen you can actually swim with these tuna. They're all protected. Here you can just look, see and enjoy. Here we go. Seeing the tuna underwater is mind-blowing. These fish are lightning fast and pure muscle, able to reach top speeds of 80 kilometres per hour. This is amazing. When you hold out a fish for them to feed, you never know where they're going to come from. And while I was looking in front, one zoomed right under my belly and grabbed the fish like a guided missile. He was happy, he got his fish, and I was just stoked for an amazing marine encounter. Get a little bit closer. Got a little bit of a nip, but it was the most amazing experience. In fact, I'm going back for more. See ya! Tuna were fast, but our next stop would take me to one of my favourite marine animals, the sleek Australian sea lion. We're approaching the sea lion colony, and as you can see, some of the scenery around here is pretty dramatic. You can see these sheer cliffs and the water looks crystal clear. So one of my favourite animals in the whole world is the sea lion. So what can I expect to see today?
From here, we're going to head down to Hopkins Island, and this is an A-class reserve, so it's pristine. It hasn't been touched. Probably there's a total of, I think, maybe 100 people who've walked on. The sea lion colony that we're going to see probably sees in total no more than 100 boats a year. So on 100 days, there'd be someone coming down and stopping in there. As soon as we pull up and we drop the anchor and they realise we're there, we might have to wake them up and give them a bit of a whistle and a clap. They literally come running down the boat. Some people call me the Pied Piper of sea lions, but it's...
So you got the magic touch.
And when they come running down the beach, they literally come to the back of the boat and they're enticing us to go for a swim. When you'll find you jump in the water, they come tantalisingly close. You can't actually reach out and grab them. They'll always sort of stay a certain distance from you. It is purely a wildlife encounter, and it happens entirely on their merit.
So will I get kissed by a sea lion?
I don't know, it depends how good looking you are. Oh, you will.
Sea lions are in the known as eared seals. Having swum with sea lions all over the world, I graceful in the water, like they're performing an underwater ballet. But most of all, these little critters are very social and oh so playful. If you engage their attention and curiosity, then you're likely to be rewarded for your efforts. I came across a large male, and after I let him know I was in the mood for a dance, he took the lead. He jumped around me, then we tangoed. And naturally, this big beautiful male known as Mr. Bubbles stole my heart. It's hard to believe that we nearly hunted these beautiful animals almost to extinction. They are rare and endangered, but luckily now have full protection. Isolated places like Hopkins are vital for their survival, and this experience is a privilege. It was so cool. I was dancing with the big whale. He was like this close to my face, and we were just doing these pirouettes, and then he'd launch out of the air. It was really cool. Pretty fun, Matt. But there's also plenty to see above the water at the Eyre Peninsula, with 2,000 kilometres of coastline, from rugged limestone cliffs to rolling sand dunes and beautiful secluded bays where the whales and their calves come and play. It's a beautiful coastline we've got here.
It is. It's a superb coastline. It really is.
And is this all national park?
Yes, this is all part of the Lincoln National Park. Yeah, 30,000 hectares of area. It's a big park.
This wild peninsula is often referred to as the Peninsula of Parks, with nearly half its area set aside as reserves, parks and native bushland. Protected areas like these are a haven for wonderful wildlife, and our chances of seeing kangaroos, emus and more whales were pretty high. This part of the Eyre Peninsula coastline has been carved out by the full force of the Southern Ocean, with towering cliffs along the Great Australian Bight, long sandy beaches and arid desert. So how do you get cliffs like this, made of limestone?
It is basically just ancient sand dunes. At the end of the last ice age, sea level was a lot lower and exposed huge areas of seabed, and it just blew up into massive sand dunes and it's just compacted over the years.
But behind the hardened dunes were miles of fresh, soft sand dunes that I just could not wait to explore. Some of the dunes were about 90 metres high. You can see how big it is. And out there, it's just the beautiful view of the Southern Ocean. Pretty cool. We've stopped for a bite of lunch. It was really yummy, but we've got a little guest who hasn't finished eating yet. This is the beautiful Wanda. Wanda the kangaroo. How old is she, Phil?
She's 8 months old.
8 months old. Full red kangaroo?
Yes, a little red.
Phil's about to give us some milk for lunch, some formula. How long's she got to have the formula for?
About the first 12 months.
Ow! She's eating me for lunch. Ow! It's really beautiful in here. Perfect koala habitat. There's a couple of koalas in trees just over here. One little guy right above my head, and just over here, there's another guy. Right there. G'day. Oh, it's so cute. After exploring the peninsula, it was once again time to hit the high seas. My next adventure would definitely have a little bite. I had a date with the great white shark. It's early morning in Port Lincoln and the fishermen are getting ready to head out to sea. But we are getting ready for the adventure of a lifetime. I'm also going to meet one of the diving industry's living legends, and few people anywhere in the world can tell you the story that he has to tell. Hello, Rodney. It's an absolute pleasure.
Are you ready for adventure?
I'm ready for an adventure.
You come to the right place. Yeah. Hey, hello to Andrew.
Nice to meet you, Andrew.
Hi, how are you?
So you're taking on the tradition, hey?
Oh yeah, you'll be having fun here. Yeah, he'll tell you all about the scientific side of it. I'll give you the fun.
We were on board Rodney Fox charters and our destination was the Neptune Islands, 70 kilometres out from Port Lincoln. The Neptune Islands consist of two major islands, separated by a small sea channel. The Southern Island's large headland supports a major New Zealand fur seal colony, and these cute little guys just happen to be on the menu for the great white shark.
We're here at the Neptunes. We've already seen sharks, so let's go home.
He's only joking. We're getting in the water with them next. Right, Jez?
Oh yeah.
That is huge. When we just arrived and came between the islands, there were sharks around the boat. We've already seen Callum, which is a 14-foot shark, which Andrew has tagged. We've got Sun, we've got Clearwater, we've got Rodney and Andrew Fox. And it looks like we have the shark. The film Jaws was shot here, and Rodney just happened to be an integral part of capturing the great whites on film. To be able to film the great whites in the water, Rodney came up with the idea of cage diving. And today, his years of working with sharks will allow us to get in the water.
Okay, after we get you guys in the cage, it's our job to get the sharks in close to you. But we're under a strict code of conduct, documented in the certificate by the Fisheries Department, that we are not allowed to tease the sharks, deliberately feed them, and you're not allowed to touch them. So that keeps them cruising around you without any of the bashing or crashing that can hurt them. So we'll be treating the sharks with a lot of respect and being very careful with them.
As I entered the water, my heart was pounding and my adrenaline was pumping. I looked around in nervous anticipation of where the shark may come from. Then the mighty predator appears. The first thing you notice is their sheer size, as the shark effortlessly glides past the cage. Then we got a close-up look at those trademark jaws. We had finally confronted the world's most feared predator. But rather than being afraid, I was in awe of this mighty beast. Great whites reach lengths of nearly 6 metres and can weigh over 2,000 kilograms. As the shark cruised past, it was very aware of who was watching who. Hey, there's a shark! There's a shark! There's a shark in the water. He came so close. His mouth came right up to the cage, and he's so sleek and he's so beautiful, and he looks at you with this big black eye. I'm in love. I'm in love with a shark. It was the best experience I've ever had in my entire life. Well, almost. So Rodney, tell me, there's not many divers around the world that don't know the name Rodney Fox and don't know that you were bitten by a great white shark. But how did you feel that day? What happened?
Well, I was hoping to win the South Australian Spearfishing Championships, and There were 40 divers fishing. I knew I needed a special type of fish and went well offshore to try and find one away from where people had been. Dived down to the bottom, was swimming along looking. I saw the one I needed and I was just about to spear it when this huge crash hit me in the chest, hurled me through the water, knocked the gun out of my hand, and I thought I'd been hit by a train, and then I realised I was underwater and had to be a giant shark. I gouged around its head as hard as I could, trying to get its eyes. It let me go. I pushed it off, but my hand went in its mouth, ripping over its teeth.
Ow.
Before it could bite my arm off, I ripped it out and grabbed it in a bear hug and held on, thinking it couldn't bite me. Then I realised I was about 50 feet underwater, holding my breath. I got to go to the surface. So I pushed off, went to the surface, took a big breath of air and looked down, and I have memories of blood red water and this great big head with its mouth wide open and big white teeth coming straight up to eat me again. And I just thought I got nothing to protect myself. So I kicked at it as hard as I could. And everything underwater is 20% further away, and I missed it. But a miracle happened. The shark turned and swallowed the fish float where I had fish on. Dived down and dragged me underwater again. And so the shark's swimming down, down, and I'm spinning, spinning, spinning. This hand was useless. I couldn't find the quick release. I was searching for it when I ran out of air, and I knew I was gone. And then another miracle, the line broke.
But were you angry at the shark at first and then that changed to curiosity?
It was such a phenomenon, and people thought and told me how the best shark's a dead shark, and the hatred I could see for sharks. And I wanted to learn more. I wanted to go back to my love of diving. I'm not mad at all sharks. I'm not very happy with the one that bit me, but I don't think we should go out and kill all the sharks. I think we should find a safe way to get in the water.
And that's why we're here today. It's one thing to see the sharks in the surface cage, but if you really want to go down and see how they live in their natural habitat, you've got to get in the bottom cage, and that's what this is. So we're going to put scuba tanks in, and we're going to go about 20 to 25 metres to the bottom of the ocean, and we're going to enter the shark's domain. Part of the beauty in coming on this trip was I not only got to see the sharks on the surface, but you also put a cage under the water as well. Now, how many people do that?
Well, actually, we're the only person I know of in the world that can handle and is rigged for bottom dive. We send a scuba diver, one of our own crew, down each time with the guests and lower the cage to the bottom. And on the bottom, you see the sharks just naturally swimming around amongst the beautiful reefs and rocks. They feel quite happy down there, and you can see them as they actually intermingle with their food at times because they're swimming with these big stingrays as well. And yet we know that they eat stingrays, but quite often you see them swimming together with lots of other fishes as well.
Here, the sharks are naturally swimming around the bottom. And as you watch them, you become mesmerised by their graceful movements. While 5 people a year may die in shark attacks, 1.2 million will die in car accidents. And over 600,000 people will die from murder by our own species, man. Sharks have definitely been given an unjustified reputation. And how do you feel about these creatures that once nearly took your life and now basically are your life work, really?
Yeah, well, the reason, of course, why I really love the sharks is because they're so unique. And I found after my attack there was this incredible anomaly where people knew nothing much about them and feared them. And I, after studying them so long and then making my living in the water, realised they're not as dangerous or as bad as everybody thinks. And for me to be able to take people out and show them the beauty and the wonders and the mystique. And when they come out of the cages, bubbling out like champagne out of a bottle and talk about their experiences, you know, I feel like I've achieved a goal. For people to understand that helping the great white sharks is a good thing and not a bad thing.
How'd you go?
He went round and round and round the cage. And we were like little sardines in the middle. It was really cool. Our fear of these sharks meant they were nearly hunted to extinction. But the irony is, this perfect predator had far more to fear from us who sat inside the cage. Diversity is the key to life, and every time we take one species out of the food chain, we are upsetting the finely tuned balance of our planet. The more you watch the shark, the more you understand it, and its vital role it plays in this ecosystem. That was cool, he just went, no, that was wicked, right out of the water. So I guess no one in the world knows more than you all the different shades of a great white shark.
Well, over the years, my son Andrew has been working very, very strong and diligently. With his science degree, he's focused his whole life on great white sharks, and he now leads all of our expeditions.
So Andrew, it's a pretty special place out here. You must love the Neptune Islands.
Yeah, I love coming in close to the island and seeing the seal pups and all the wildlife right close to the island. And there's so much going on around here. Breeding birds, breeding seals, dolphins, lots of fish life right here in the bay too. Right now these pups are learning how to swim out further from shore. That's why the sharks are here. We've seen sharks come right into the shallows here, right where we are, and take out seals in very little water, about a 1 metre of water right here.
Must be a hard life being a little seal pup.
Yeah, those guys must be tasty.
They're just so cute. So the sharks that we've seen on this trip, because I think we're up to about 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
Do you know all those sharks?
Yeah, some of those sharks that we've seen are sharks we've known for 10 years now. And
Wow.
Big Moo and Curly and Johnny, they're favourites of ours for many years.
So do you think we might get a tag in a shark today?
I think with that new shark that's untagged, if we can get him very close to the back platform, we should be able to get a tag in him tonight.
And what do the tags tell you? Do they tell you where they are in the area?
Yeah, those tags that we're using now are sonic tags, and they pick up on the receiver station over that way. And anywhere within 500 metres of this bay, we'll pick up that signal and we'll know every time that shark comes into this area.
But tagging a great white is no mean feat. But the rewards of science are worth it if we can somehow help protect these amazing sharks.
For you, sharks are so much more. It's about the research, it's about the understanding now.
Yeah, I'd like to take the research of the shark to a new level of understanding. Still, it would be a pity if we learnt everything about them straight away. It would take away the mystery of them.
You know, part of the reason why we come out here is not only because we believe in the sharks, that they need somebody to say that we have to look after them, but we make so many dreams come true.
This is the ultimate nature experience you can have anywhere in the world. Not only do you get to come face to face with the legendary great white sharks, but you get to enjoy the magnificence of the Neptune Islands and the gorgeous fur seals who live here.
The Eyre Peninsula is an amazing place to visit with its rugged beauty and world-class marine encounters. This part of the planet still appears to have its natural assets fairly intact. But remember, the great white shark and the Australian sea lion are both endangered species. So it's vital we preserve this ecosystem.